The Giant's Garden. Long, long ago, there lived a giant who had a beautiful garden in his castle. The garden had many flowers and trees with birds singing all the time. But the giant never let anyone enter his garden. Whenever he went to his friend Ogre's house, children would come there to play. One day, the giant returned from his friend's place after 7 years. He became very angry on seeing children playing in his garden. He chased them away and built a high wall around the garden. The children felt sad as they had nowhere to play. "How happy we were in the garden," they said. When the children stopped coming to the garden, the trees and flowers became so sad that they forgot to blossom. The only people who were pleased were the snow and the frost. "Spring has forgotten this garden," they cried out, "so we will live here all the year round." The snow covered up the grass with her great white cloak, and the frost painted all the trees silver. "I don't understand why spring is not coming to my garden," the giant wondered one day. The spring didn't come, nor the summer. The autumn gave golden fruits to every garden except the giant's garden. "He is too selfish," she said. A long time passed, and one morning the giant lay awake in bed. He heard some lovely music. It sounded so sweet to his ears that he thought it might be the king's musicians passing by. It was a little linnet singing outside his window. It had been so long since he had heard a bird sing in his garden that it seemed to him to be the most beautiful music in the world. Suddenly, he noticed that hail stopped dancing over his head. The cold north wind ceased roaring, and a sweet perfume came to him through the open casement. "I believe the spring has come at last," said the giant, and he looked out. What did he see? The children were playing in the garden. They had entered through a small hole in the wall, and spring had arrived in the garden at last to express its happiness on seeing the children again. The giant realized that he had been selfish and was very sorry for what he had done. He let the children play in the garden every day. The giant's favorite among the children was a little boy who had kissed him when he helped him to get on top of the tree. But the little boy had stopped coming to the garden, and the giant became very sad. Many years passed, and the giant grew old and weak. One winter morning, the giant saw the same boy under a tree. He ran down to the boy in joy. The boy was a kind angel who had come to take the giant to the Garden of Paradise as a reward for letting him play in his garden.